I should be live now. I want to test whether the echoes
I want to
go.
test
Whether the
I
echoes
want to
go.
test
Whether the echo. Hey, that's not bad. Okay, that's really cool. It's really cool. Turn it off, see what it sounds like. Yep, noisy. Here's the clicks. Put on background noise suppression and see what happens. I'm still clicking. Oh, I didn't continue speaking for long enough, but that's really strange. You only hear the occasional click come through. And I guess it's really loud, it's gonna pop through. The other thing I'm curious about is if I come much further back and so it's much more echo, what does it sound like? And it sounds pretty good. Doesn't sound bad, and if I turn it off, I wonder how much echo there'll be. There's definitely more echo. I mean, obviously there's the noise, but I haven't put noise suppression on. But Streamlabs had noise suppression before, so. Yeah, anyway, that's really nice. Takes away all the noise that I don't want happening in the background. People go clonking and stuff.
Oh, that's just excellent, isn't it?
Oh, that's a fun test. So does it count things like clearing my throat as noise, and does it get rid of it? Okay, it counts it as noise. That's cool. I'm sorry, it doesn't count as noise, which makes sense. That's good. Because that's really useful. And I'm assuming that can work through Discord too. Test the different levels of noise suppression because it occasionally feels like it's maybe clipping off the beginning of my sentence. But that still sounds good, so. And if I turn it way down, presumably it's going to just go back to being. Yep. Pop it up one. Does this do anything? Does it get rid of the. Ah, yeah. Slightly more echo in the background. What does it do with the clicks? Can you hear the clicks? I can hear the clicks. Turn it up again. Can I hear the clicks? Yep. Turn up more. Does it hear the clicks? Definitely less. Cool, and then I turn up a bit again. I think the other thing is it needs to know what voice sounds like to have the comparison. Yeah, but now it's gone. Cool, alright. I'm keeping that. And then we can actually get into art. Synthesis. Hello, I am good. I was just installing the Oh, hold on, I need to not hear myself on the stream anymore. I need to mute that. I am good. Yes, I was just installing the NVIDIA's new RTX AI noise suppression thing. don't have an RTX card, but there's a little workaround that you can do to allow it to run on basically any GTX card. So yeah, I've managed to get it working, which is rather lovely. I didn't have much hope for it, but oh, of course, the real test. So I'm gonna go back to testing. Was my keyboard? I want to know how much it gets rid of the keyboard sound because that's sort of the thing I'm aware is really annoying all the time. Yeah, because I do this, or I just click when I'm drawing, and I might be speaking whilst I'm clicking my keyboard as well. Oh, that's lovely. So I've got it on like about half suppression at the moment. If I put it up to full, um, I still hear some of it, I think. No? And now I'm just doing it constantly whilst I'm speaking. Yeah, that's crazy. Okay, so this is what you should be hearing at the moment. I'm turning off noise suppression again. This is what you would normally hear. And now I'm just going to put noise suppression back on and continue speaking and blah, 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 blah. Continue speaking with my keyboard going, click, 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 click. That's mad. That's so cool. Okay, well, there we go. I quite like the slight blend where you can hear the soft keyboard. It just makes my keyboard sound like it's really gentle. It's almost ASMR-like. Ah, it's so cool. All right. No more future tech stuff. Let's do some actual drawing. So I'm gonna announce that I'm again need to mute myself because otherwise I just cannot continue to talk with the feedback of myself in my ears. At everyone streaming now with a lot less annoying keyboard sounds. It's magical. Awesome. And that should be all. Let's get the chat up on my phone so I can see what you are saying. And we should be good to go. I am indeed early, yes. The classic and nice mechanical keyboard sound combined with the brain is good. The thing is, it's a bit much. Like the full keyboard sound is real intense. But yeah, I agree. I quite like hearing a little bit of it, if because I can now get rid of it completely. It seems, but of course that's going to potentially have an effect on my actual voice. Some of my voice might start to clip out and stuff. I'd rather make sure that my voice is constant, sort of feels more constant in its portrayal, and you just hear a bit of clicking in the background. But I genuinely really like the soft, sort of higher clicking sounds. Like there's a bunch of YouTube channels which are about making fancy keyboards and like properly lubing up a keyboard so that it's as smooth as possible. And they have like lovely switches or whatever that give you this soft tap. And then they'll just, they're really good at typing, so they'll just demo it by typing for a while, and it's lovely. It's a lovely sound. It's just keyboard ASMR. We're going to do the next character. Something I was doing last night, which you won't have seen, is just this random blue hand, and now I'm giving it purpose. It's going to hold onto his hat. It's very rough at the moment. But the other thing is his arm. It felt very much like he was just attacking his box. So if I show you what it was before, he had his arm going straight down into the box, and it felt more like a strike, as if the motion was implying that he was pushing his hand into the box. And I wanted the opposite. I wanted to look like he's pulling it out. So getting more of an arcing curve with his arm by extending it a bit and then bending at the wrist. That's what I've gone for now. And of course, I can put a bit of bend in the actual bone, which sort of just really emphasizes that. But now it feels like he's actually pulling something out of the box, which is the original intention. But yeah, it works a lot better now. Cool. So we're doing the next character, which is Brave. And we have a rough outline. Oh, actually, yeah, I think I've really confused myself here because I was thinking I was going to use sort of wild and animalistic colors for this character, but instead that's completely wrong. My initial intention was to give it more of a modern punky vibe. So where is that? Yeah, here we go. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna be putting the see-through fishy stuff in as well, which will be nice. Scoop that, call it Brave. Scoop that down, and I'm gonna put my. Oh, that's not right. Let me copy, please. Yeah, okay. Put that at the top so I remember what I was thinking with this for this. Don't need you because that is totally the wrong direction. And we can start to sketch on top. So the ideas for this character really were that they're going to be a blind character. Their whole deal is insight. So it's being able to see things that aren't apparent to the eye, essentially. That's the whole point. So they don't have normal sight. They see like a level deeper, but only a level deeper. This is their box. Their mystery box has like it sees only what is put inside it. And then it sees sort of like the deeper message or meaning, or if you put an object in that had a special property, a magical property, then this character would be able to define what that is. They'll be able to see what it is, even though from the outside it may just look like a spoon, whatever it is. They are, however, like blind to what is normally to normal sight, which is why I've moved them to be like here, and I would like to maybe make just a quick adjustment to the final lineup where this character is like clearly sort of using the leaders for support, because the leader is they're like more like the all-seeing eye. They see everything, but at a normal level. Sort of. I mean, their twist is just that they can kind of see things from every angle, see everything at once. The main word inspirations there are things about it's like holistic view. I've used the fourth dimensional cube, the Tesseract. Tesseract. Oh, I can't remember which now. Tesseract. Because the idea is that from in the same way that we can see the entirety of a 2D plane all at once, a fourth dimensional being will be able to see the entirety of a 3D space at once. So if there is a box, for example, from the fourth dimension, you'd be able to see inside that box at all times, as well as the outside, as well as the back of it, underneath it, top of it, that kind of thing. Yeah, and so they have like a full sight, but a normal sight of the world. It's sort of things that are actually visible, rather than yeah, things that are visible rather than stuff that has like a meaning or a property. So it's insight's job or skill to work out what something can be used for or what its intentions or purposes or things like that. Is that a new microphone? I mean, I'm curious, does it sound obviously better? Essentially, I'm using a new noise suppression. So instead of the noise suppression that just comes with Streamlabs, I'm now using the new RTX NVIDIA noise removal thing. I think it's just called NVIDIA RTX Voice. It's technically supposed to be for the new RTX cards, and I'm assuming it will run better on the RTX cards, but it also works on the previous generation. You just have to do some sneaky fandangling as you install it, because otherwise it will refuse to install. But it's much nicer now because, yeah, well, it's a ray tracing thing, but the idea is that it's like that this software uses some like some AI sort of trained system, which I think would run far more efficiently on the circuit board that the ray tracing stuff runs on, the RTX part of the RTX card. But it can also run on the previous generations. It's just they obviously want to make it a selling point for their new line of hardware, but they haven't really like locked it off or anything. Like it's it's available. I've just installed it. You just have to do some sneaky things with some code. It's literally just open a file and delete the code that tells it to not allow the install to happen if you don't have RTX installed. Oh, sorry, if you don't have a physical RTX card installed in your machine. Installing is, sorry, I'm using installed still. That implies software. Just unless you have an RTX card. Anyway, so we're going to do something kind of cool and punky. I actually put this original shape around the head because I was thinking they could be blindfolded. That might work quite well. Yes, to match the insight theme, I figured that having like being able to see through their body would be really cool and see like some sort of shape inside. I don't know if I'll go full on like organs. I think it could be nice if I keep it like colorful and interesting rather than gory, but essentially it was these were the images I was referencing. And I just really like that look. I think it's really cool. So I may do a similar thing where like I show a kind of a muscly arm in here, and then kind of this softer outer layer. And so I still give it a solid and strong feeling. And then this sort of like outer edge defines the actual outside. And it could be like quite a hard piece of armor or something that's just a fancy transparent material. But I want to give it this look where the edges are kind of blurring because of the way the light has to bend through. So yeah, just like imagine this kind of thing. Ooh. As for the leader, why do they float? I don't get where they're standing. So they're standing on a plane that we can't see. I'm treating them as if they're a fourth dimensional being. It's more fun. They're standing on a plane that you can't see. So I'll give a quick explanation of how that works. Imagine a sphere and a cube sitting on a plane. And if a two-dimensional being was to look at this three-dimensional scene, they would only be able to see a two-dimensional slice of it. So they would see like this or this. Dot 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 dot. Dot 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 dot. So from their point of view, they'd be looking at an image which was square like this. It doesn't have to be square, but it's flat, and they would see a circle and nothing. And then in this other view of the same scene, they would see a square and nothing. They would see this. Now, if they were to move their view of the scene slightly over, then they would view only a bit of this sphere and the line underneath it, which would make their view of that scene look like this. They would see a floor, but they would see a sphere that's somehow floating above the floor. To them, that wouldn't make any sense. They'd be like, that should fall to the ground. How is it floating? It doesn't make any sense. And if another object were to then knock into it, like imagine this cube moved over, it might knock this side of the sphere, and it would cause the sphere to firstly move this way, but it would also move in 3D space along this axis, which would make the sphere grow in size until it was actually touching the floor. It would roll over and then continue rolling until it was small again, and then continue rolling off to this side, slowly getting smaller until it just completely disappears. And the person in the 2D plane will just be like, where did it go? It got bigger, touched the ground, got smaller again, and disappeared. That's because they can't see its movement in the 3D space. They can only see its movement in the 2D. So that's the principle that essentially you have to imagine, but we can't fully understand, is taking place for us looking at the movement of a fourth dimensional shape. So in this case, we see just one of these slices of the leader. We see one of these views of the leader's current position. So the leader is standing on something that we can't see because we're only able to see one slice of the fourth dimensional plane. In the same way that here, he tries to explain something we're too low level to understand. But yeah, that's the same idea. So we see a 3D slice of his position. So it appears like he's just floating, but if we were able to see the entirety of his physicality in the fourth dimension, then we'd see, oh, it's actually standing on this thing that we can't see at the moment. In the same way that you would, if you were a 2D creature and you were looking at this slice of this this sphere, you'd have no idea how the sphere was there because we're only seeing this plane, this cut through. And of course that would appear like it's just a circle floating. So that's my current idea for why he's floating, and it's more interesting. I think it's fun to show that there's like a physical interaction of his feet on something that we can't see. It also allows for his arms to just be that much bigger, which is cool. I don't want them dragging along the ground. I want it to feel kind of demigod-like. He's surreal. Like that's kind of the whole vibe I'm going with him. So yeah, it should feel impossible, mysterious, perhaps. I mean, that's the theme of the whole competition. Yeah, I hope it's not too bizarre. And when it comes to judging, the people, they just go, "Why is it floating? I don't get it." I hope that's not the case. But who knows? Maybe this will come back and bite me in the butt. What did I miss? Zoo. Yes, I'm doing great, thank you. And thank you. Upgraded your PC 2 weeks ago. Time to test. Yeah, definitely. I think in the comments things were saying like I've got this to work on my 1030, stuff like that. I don't think it's. I don't know if it works on the 9 series, but I imagine it would. Humans are too low level to understand fourth dimensional logic since we haven't evolved to. Yeah. Do you read a lot? I can't imagine doing this whole dimensional stuff without knowing quantum physics. I don't need to know about quantum physics to understand the essentially the hypotheses of what the fourth dimension would be like, or would yeah would appear to us. But yes, I mean I consume interesting or media about interesting science stuff a lot. There's a great channel called Numberphile on YouTube, which is just math stuff, and I haven't done maths for ages, but they do the interesting bits. I don't have to solve differential equations like I did at A level. I was a bit dull. They talk about Klein bottles and stuff, which is which is the higher dimension of a Mobius strip. You all know a Mobius strip. You've got this kind of thing. Let's see if I can get this right. We're on that plane. That needs to become this plane. Yeah, there we go. There's a Mobius strip. And the higher dimension of that is a Klein bottle, where it's impossible in 3D space, but it looks something like this. Oh. I need to put this underneath so I can draw on top of it. There we go. Oh. Yeah, a Klein bottle looks like this, so it loops up. And in 3D space, there's no alternative for it but for it to like clip through itself, and then it comes down to the bottom and then opens up again. So if you can imagine what this is like, if you're on the outside of this surface, you'll be able to walk around, go through here. You'll then come inside the bottle, and then you will remain on the inside of the bottle. You're no longer able to pass through this hole, this opening at the bottom, because you're on the inside of this surface. And so you can then come back to where you began, but you're now on the opposite side of the surface. So in the same way that you start here on the Mobius strip, you follow it around, you come here, and then you're now on the other side. Same point on the strip, but on the opposite side. Well, that's what the Klein bottle is. You shouldn't be writing it down. You should find someone who can explain it and show it better than I can. There's on the Numberphile channel, I remember they had a guy with a Klein bottle that had been cast in, I think it was in glass. And he was like, I'm going to cut it in half and show you what it looks like. And so he got out his diamond worktop drill and just, not drill, rotary blade, and just sliced it in half. And it's cool. It made for an easier explanation of exactly what was going on, because essentially he had a piece of glass that looked like this. Yeah, it wouldn't have been like that. It would have been like that. And here you can sort of see it a bit better, where start on this point, wiggle around, come in here. Now I'm on the inside. On the inside of the shape, on the outside of the shape. And you could continue around, and then you come back outside and you join where you began. So it's a cool shape. It's an interesting thought. I don't think it has a particular artistic use, in the same way that the fourth dimensional things don't have an obvious artistic use. This cube here is my attempt to represent the Tesseract as one of the boxes. It has the rough form of how we display one, but I mean it's pretty vague. Also, I have ArtStation open. That's what that little blink is. Oh no, you can't hear my desktop audio. Oh, that's fine then. And actually, on that note, I haven't been listening to music, which has probably been why I'm rambling about fourth dimension and stuff. Let's close this. We don't need that. Awesome. Right, cool. So we'll close and actually get back to doing some design. I don't like what was going on there. I need to find something which is a little more specific that I want to latch onto. So I think first I'm going to revisit all the words that I called out for this character. The one that I definitely want to present is, like, he needs to have a... Yeah, I think I need to make sure the chest is visible so that we can see the internals. I want to see those internals. The other images I had gathered for like squishy deep sea creature stuff were these. They're pretty cool. And maybe I just kind of theme him around this deep sea creature look, because in the same way that I'm describing here, they don't have normal sight. They have to work on different senses because yeah, there's no light at the bottom of the ocean. So they can't see. How sad. There's this crazy thing too, which I'm not really sure I want to include in the design because it looks too creepy, but it's cool. Yeah, and basically I'm then just going to combine those references with modern fashion stuff. Anyway, continuing on with reading the chat because I've ignored it. So damn, because there is no fourth dimension. Oh, I don't know how you come up with these ideas, but with the complexity of Inception, it's not worth reading, I think. So good, this K. Nice explanation. Well, that's good. I like to educate about things other than art. Hopefully I'm correct, but please go and search the things that I've talked about so that you can get a better explanation or something that's at least more holistic. Gives you a sense of the greater picture. Maybe you like the What If channel. I think I have seen a couple of those things. But I forget exactly what I would have watched on there. So you'd say all these non-art related information helps you with creating it inside your own world or story. Yeah, definitely. There's a... I mean, I did... At school I was studying the four sciences. I ended up not doing art at A-level because I just wanted to do my own thing in my own time. And essentially my mum persuaded me that, and she was very much correct with this, that the chance to get like a proper science education is more important at this point, since I could essentially learn and study art on my own. So that's what I did. And I don't know why my tablet keeps messing up like this. It only allows me to draw straight lines. But yeah, all of that sort of knowledge and continued interest in science, because I still really enjoy it, it's kept with me, and I've definitely included it in artwork before. Like the piece called Evolution, the thing I did for the Cube Brush Worlds competition. Like, there's not really much application of any sort of scientific knowledge, but the ideas are all born from that, and then just translated into visual things that make the world feel more rich and diverse. Try to draw fourth dimensional objects in a 3D world on a 2D surface. We are. Oh, sorry, you say trying to draw fourth dimensional objects in a 3D world on 2D surface. That is what I'm doing. Nicely put. Very nicely put. Should I be writing this down? No. No. But you should be getting inspired to go and find your own, or to go and have your own research, do your own research. I think it could be nice to cover up the top. Just looking at these and wondering what's sort of missing in terms of the look. They are brave though, so I need to give them something which like makes it clear they're uninhibited, or they're not worried. They could be worried though. I kind of like the idea that they're brave through conflict. It's not like they were born brave and that's just the way they are. This character has lost their sight or was born without sight, and so they've been very brave to essentially continue and succeed within those restrictions. And perhaps now has, you know, less fear of the unknown than the others, because they're not concerned about the outward appearance of things. I think it'd be cool to go for like thick leggy things here and then shrink it down to the small ankles so that I can then show like the big trainers. I like big trainers. I don't own any. I sort of doubt I ever will, because big fashionable trainers cost a lot. But I like drawing them. I like their vibe. I just don't know if I'd ever actually wear them. But just like the big chunky overly designed trainer look, I think is great, especially with the huge treads. And the really fun thing, like I'm doing here, is that the treads allow you to separate out their form from the actual form of the foot. So like you can see that this character, which I'm tempted to make female, has a normally proportioned foot. You know, they got a skinny ankle going into a normally sized foot. But then it's just this huge tread put on at the bottom. Megasoma Eliphas. What is going on right now? We are designing the Brave character from the character lineup required by the ArtStation Mystery Box Challenge. So, for more information, or a better overview, go onto ArtStation and go in their challenge tab, and I mean, you can actually see, if you just scroll through like the recent entries and things, you'll see mine pop up at some point. Because I posted last night, so it's decently recent. Yeah, and you can see other entries, and you can see the full brief. But my current lineup, before you do that, looks like this. Leader, serious, mischievous, wild, joyful, and I'm currently doing brave. Yesterday you were on my ArtStation and came across your Twitch. Actually, it's a really good point. I've forgotten to post in the challenge updates about how if anyone is interested, they can actually come and join the Twitch streams. I should really do that, because why not? Why not use it as a point to spread the word? Instead of constantly spamming Instagram, which I mean is good, because obviously there are going to continue to be people that haven't seen or aren't aware, but you know, for anyone that is, it's just like, oh, he's talking about Twitch again. All right, cool, whatever. How long did each character take to design? I have been sort of doing them each evening during the week, at least getting the first pass of each character out. Someone asked yesterday about how long I spent just brainstorming beforehand. Like, before I started doing any of the characters' visuals, so like before I did any actual drawing, I probably spent about an hour or so just gathering reference and thinking about how I was going to approach the challenge. Yeah, since then it's been like 3, 4, maybe 5 hours sort of just sketching around on the characters each. A lot of it's because, yeah, like there's constant changes going back and forth. Some of them definitely took longer. Unfortunately, I can't really say. I haven't been tracking the time. Like, as far as the time to do a sketch, then, yeah, like, if I knew what I was doing, then getting a drawing like this out and proper would probably be like 3 hours or something, because there's a lot of stuff to figure out, regardless of whether you've got the idea. But this was already the second pass of this character. So, firstly, I kind of had a head start with it, but then secondly, I was really looking for ways to change it and fix it. So I spent most of, was it Friday? I think it was Friday doing this character. Like, I spent a lot of time on it. I think just more than normal, I'm trying to spend longer thinking about how to make these characters work. And it's not just like, I'm going to draw a cool knight in armor. Yeah, find some cool reference and just kind of mold that reference until it fits. You can't participate in the challenge, you're bad and everyone will laugh at your drawings. Not at all. No one's laughing at each other in the challenge. Yeah, not at all. Ideally, you'll get some useful feedback. Especially if you ask for it. When you post your work, be like, please give me any tips if you've got anything that you think can change. Because otherwise, people probably won't reach out with like criticism, because everyone's really quite polite on ArtStation. You need to stop brainstorming soon and pick the characters to go deeper. Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm trying to get a part of the character done, so that, like, I've brainstormed to the point that I can make a visual, and then I want to go back and refine what I've got, but making sure I have something to actually go off rather than just constantly sort of going back and forth, because the temptation is to find something which actually fits or feels a bit more structured than what I currently have. But I know that with enough work, I can make this current idea coherent enough, and ultimately a resulting pool of characters. So I was like, I need to start getting some design down so that I'm like locked in. And also, like, just showing some, like, seeing some visuals allows you to start working out problems far more easily. What do I want to do here? Might go for like a baggy rim to the top of these trousers or something. And then, yeah, the question is whether I kind of actually show some, like, lungs, stomach, liver, intestines, mammary glands, or whether I just go for something more abstract. I could do like just a more stylized representation of each of the organs. I think that could be cool. Do you find yourself searching for new reference even though you've already collected in the beginning? Yes, definitely. Certainly if it's a specific object that I think of, and then I'm like, okay, let's find proper reference for it. As far as like general reference to give me inspiration, less so. Since essentially I'm not looking for something to give me a broad idea. Now I'm trying to hone in on specifics. So I sort of don't want to be sidetracked and end up doing something that I didn't originally plan. But at least for the visual finish, I'm gonna constantly look for references that will inform how I want to actually render these characters. But then also, yeah, I'm most of the time it's like just when I'm not actually sitting and drawing, I'm trying to think about ways, like if I'm just eating lunch or cooking, I'm trying to think of ways to contextualize each character. So I obviously have a mental map of what each character is going to be in my head. This one is, their main shtick is insight. So I'm thinking of more ways I can communicate insight in their design. I haven't actually made any particular advancements with this character because most of it is going to be in their box. Like their box is what defines most of this character. But it will be nice to, yeah, find a way that I can like continue to push aspects of their brave personality. Like I'm putting in things which feel somewhat armor-like because you've got like the brave knight vibe. And otherwise, it's just to do with how they carry themselves. So I want them to have like a strong feel in their pose. Which I think this does enough. Like a standing pose would be the more standard approach to make something look strong and brave. I have missed out. Well, I could rearrange things so that was the case in my lineup, but yeah, currently I don't have that. Just in the way that they've all been laid out. And I like the sort of dynamic poses in the air. I have 3 characters on the ground, one that's kind of on the ground but in a different dimension, and then the other 2 in the air doing some crazy stuff. What I'm aware of is that I want it to make sure I can be freer with my pose. Like I can make a cooler looking pose. I'm not sure this is as cool a pose as I could get, but it also does a good job of allowing me to actually show all of the design. Like, I don't want to pick a pose that obscures too much of the design, because that's not very helpful. I think I can bring this further towards the camera. Maybe further up too. Strong beyond strong, what's up? Do you want to guess what I did this morning? Probably, I don't know if it's the best thing to start a day with, but it certainly humbled me for the rest of the day. Give it a guess. Red Cohn's letter. Exactly. You've got it. You've nailed it on the head. Yeah, the first thing I did when I booted up my PC was load it up, find some mellow and introspective music to listen to at the same time, and cried like a baby, whilst also having my heart filled with a warmth. Yeah, and now I'm drawing. For all those who haven't read it, go read it. It's very good. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. And I need to watch Memories. I think it's called Memories. It's like a compilation sci-fi film. Compilation of sci-fi films. Which I still haven't seen. And I gotta watch. Also haven't seen Millennium Actress yet. Oh, so much stuff I haven't seen. Oh no. No time this month though. Do I always design characters with silhouettes first? Not at all. I don't think I normally do at all, really. When have I done it last? I think the last time I did it was a deliberate exercise displaying how you can approach character design. And so I was like going through all the motions, you know, as if it was being taught to a class. And that was my Dragon Slayer. And I was doing it as a training task within Atom Hawk. It then got used as a like an example task for a bunch of unis. And of course I started with silhouettes there, and it's useful. But this time it had a bigger purpose, which was that I wanted to fill out the roster. So I'll load in the image I had before. This was the first time I did like a block out of all my characters. And I had the leader, I had, at the time, who was Wild, and I had Sirius. So I wanted to get a vague idea of the volumes I wanted in the other characters. Like, I wanted there to be a very big, chunky, rounded character. I wanted there to be something just slimmer, and, you know, I at that point had already defined the see-through aspect. And then this was going to be mischievous. Since then, yeah, it's changed so that now it's I've switched them around, changed their positions. It makes a bit more sense, and Wild has completely switched from this character to this one. But yeah, it means I still have a rough like a fairly nice balance in terms of the overall shape of things. Like the chef has remained this big, rounded, bubbly character, and that was the point essentially of doing the silhouettes. Because now, if I roughly follow the silhouette, I know that it's going to fit into my lineup fairly well, which isn't that important, but I'd quite like to have this final lineup feel quite coherent. So yeah. It is good though. I think it's helped quite a bit with some bits, some aspects. So definitely continue to do it. My only gripe with it would just be that it potentially encourages you to just go for, like, just focus on making shapes that look cool. And at the moment, at least, I really want to make sure I'm doing design work that has more meaning, sort of more thought behind it. Which of course you can do at the same time as silhouettes, and that's what I've tried to do here, where, you know, I'm trying to show the fact that this character is going to have the transparency, which is all about representing insight. But it's very easy to then just mess around, make some cool shapes, and then try and fill it in with something abstract. So I'm wondering, I think all of these trouser bits I should also have see-through. Or maybe not. No, I don't think I'll do it for the legs, but I might do it for the arms. I think they could have like a painted eye on their face, but otherwise everything's covered up, something like that. Oh, actually no, even better, I will put on an eye that's closed. A very non-subtle hint that they cannot see. Get it? The eye's closed. Oh, and silent, no, I didn't fall out of bed. In fact, I woke up to my alarm and then was like, yeah, I'll get up, and then I fell asleep immediately. I'd wasted like an hour and a half of unnecessary sleep. Ugh. That's it, everyone, I failed. I didn't stick to my regime. And now I'm not going to have enough time to finish the challenge. Ah. Have you watched many short collections like Genius Party, Robot Harmony, Carnival, Neo Tokyo? And I haven't seen Anikuri, and I haven't seen Robot Carnival, I don't think. Well, I've seen maybe one from Robot Carnival, but yes, the other ones I have. Neo Tokyo is fantastic. I really enjoyed that. The design of the girl in Labyrinthos is maybe my favorite design. I was thinking about it the other day, and I was like, this one just appeals to me. It's simple, and it works so well, and I love it. I'll try and draw them from memory, but I'm not going to do a good job. They're like... kind of like this. Actually, it's more like they have this sort of eyes that squish to the shape that they're trying to show. And then the hair is just kind of like this soft thing that goes up. Oh, I can't remember. Oh, I feel so bad. Let's get a picture. Yeah, there we go. Look at this. So nice. Crazy shape variation. I mean, I guess that's what I like. There's a flow between, in all of their movement. The contrast in the shapes of the trousers, and then I'll see if I can get a picture of the full body, because yeah, they're like 60% trousers. And it's just really cool. Here we go. I feel like it exemplifies what I like in design so well that it's like obvious. I was like, this has to be a favorite character design. I don't think anything else captures like what I try to put into my designs as well as this, because everything's about like stretching out shapes that you like so that you really feel the motion, putting in cut lines so that you can exemplify perspective more accurately. Big, medium, small, like really sort of small tight details within much larger and expressive shapes. And then of course it's cute. I like cute stuff. So, but it's excellent. Very good. Top marks. 10 out of 10. Actually, I realize I can't clap anymore. I'm assuming you can hear this a bit, but the noise suppression is going to do its best to get rid of the clapping. Because that should be real loud. But the third eye is open. Oh. How can you get better exaggerated armor designs? You seem to suffer from a similar problem to me with silhouettes that you always end up drawing the longest legs on the planet. Oh yeah, exactly. But also I like that. I mean, certainly in a case like this, it's just... It's appealing. It's nice to have. Sometimes I'll deliberately do the opposite just to break away from that, but it's... Yeah, it's much harder, and it generally communicates something else about the character. I feel like long legs don't really carry any sort of particular vibe with them other than looking kind of appealing. Whereas you may be kind of like a cute dwarf friendly stocky kind of vibe from shorter legs. That to me at least, and this is just because it's based on whatever media I've consumed, it feels like it's a more specific sort of motif. Yeah, than long legs, which are just kind of like, it's cool and you can do whatever you like with them. As far as exaggerated shapes, the main thing is that whenever I exaggerate the shapes on an armor, I'm just trying to construct that piece in perspective as accurately as possible. So if I open up the chef, like these armor pieces, they're big and cool, but the main thing is that they allow me to just really, really emphasize the cylinder shapes. So instead of doing like armor coming down a big cylinder like this, because this is what the overall form is, it's a cylinder, so I'm designing shapes that really emphasize the cylinder. Rather than like if an armor sorry, if an armor piece kind of just like cut through sideways, or was flat on top, I mean, it would give you a kind of samurai looking vibe, but it wouldn't, for me, it wouldn't allow me to display the perspective so clearly. That doesn't mean you have to go for rounded shapes and things, but like if you're doing a normal suit of armor and you've got like the chest piece, the thing that I like to emphasize would then be the shoulder piece, because I can sort of like really show how it curves away in perspective. It's like an interesting compound shape where you've got a curve that's mapped onto another curve from above, and so you get like this curve here starts to loop around onto itself, and so everything bunches together and then disappears at the edge, and then something pops out of it. Like these are just very interesting compound shapes to me, and then if you like push it further and end it with like another curve like this, it becomes that much more appealing. So that's kind of how I approach the design of things like this. I like being able to put like a big flare. So in armor where you have the I always forget my armor anatomy. What are these called? The elbow guards? Can't remember. But between the verabrace and the vambrace, you've got the shoulder guards, and normally they would have like you know, a bit of flair like this. But because it's a place that you can put in some extra information, why not bulge out the tips and go for something which is slightly floral, or you go for something which is like obviously sharper. It depends what you want to communicate with your design. And then yeah, in places like this, things that you're not going to have like any weird knocking or interaction with, you could put a bit of flair on top of, but you can't really like have bits sticking out of the Verabrace because that's just going to get in the way. So it's looking for places that you can add shape that's not going to massively inhibit movement. And yeah, normally it's around these joints where the joint is designed so it can move, and then the bit attached on extra can just be ballooned up and made bigger. There's also stuff which I just enjoy from fashion, like turtlenecks and scarves and things. I think just from like enjoying all the anime sort of content that I used to adore on DeviantArt. Like a lot of the time they'd go for that like cute wearing a scarf look, and anything around the neck has just continued to be something that I like the look of. So having this like big guard, somewhat impractical, but I enjoy it a lot. It's cool to have. So yeah, like with accentuated armor design, it's just taking the pieces that could potentially get bigger from a realistic design and then pushing it further, allowing it to become as big as possible. Flares around here as well. That could be a place you could do it. But also something to bear in mind is that when you've got something flaring out like this, the purpose of it is so that the wrist can be moved back and forth. And so essentially by putting in these lines that show the full extent of the movement, you're communicating more about the wrist than you would otherwise. Like if you just ended this here, then yeah, we get that it can move. This tells you exactly how far it can move. And that's nice to see, as well as allowing you to put in some extra flair. But a lot of it's then just looking at real armor design and looking at the fluting and stuff that they add to their armor, if you want to add something specific, something interesting. Let's give him long sabatons. Make up for his stocky legs. Wow, he's so cute. And he rides a horse because he can't run very fast, so he can have spurs. There we go, exaggerated armor design. Yaren X, hello! I'm really behind on chat at the moment. Too late to finish the challenge in the first week, absolute failure, I know. I love all those short connections and how the directors you can see. Yeah, love the artists like Tatsuyuki Takak. Koji Morimoto, yeah, they're fantastic. Trousers. Oh wait. Low-key? Cute girls and cats, me. Huh? You're gonna have to ask that question again, or... Oi, right? Loike, cute girls and cats, me. Is that the name of something? I haven't seen it. Kyuta. Eternal 80, hello. In the wise words of Spinal Tap. But this one goes to 11. So if you can increase the volume, do. Volume of what? Wait, I'm really lost. A very thin horse. I was meant to be a... meant to be a northern accent. I'm not feeling confident to a decent northern accent. Oh god, it's really hard to imagine. As soon as I've heard it, I can do a decent job of mimicking accents, but I can't imagine what northern sounds like at the moment. It's all about having a cup of tea in the morning. No, that's not right. Ooh, bad. Bad accent. Loik. Nah, where's that? What sort of accent would pronounce like loik? Maybe it is northern. The Leeds area. Ah, okay. Or I write like cute girls and cats me. No, that's not right. I'm not gonna try. Partly because when you wear earphones, it's really hard to hear yourself, so I can't. I find it really hard to like modify the speech as I go. It's kind of like singing with headphones on or something. Or the best example is the reason people sing in the shower is because they sound better than themselves. They can't hear how off they are. And so they're less inhibited and continue singing. Oh, I might show some shrimps on the Barbie, mate. Yeah, I don't know. A bad Australian accent is easier. It always pops into my mind quite easily for some reason. Okay, their box. I think they should be. Yeah, I'm not sure what I want them to be doing with their box. Essentially, I had to have it open because I really want to demonstrate, or I really want to showcase the design of the box. And that's the case with all of them. I've had all the boxes open and like active. And I think that's enough to communicate the point of the box, like, you know, show how it works and that kind of thing. So let's give it that little a latch that goes over the top. And so, yeah, without holding their box, I wanted the boxes to feel more physical than not. Like the only one that's floating is fourth dimensional dudes, but you know that's fine. He can basically do what he wants. And we've run out of chill music. Let's get that back on. I really like that album. This isn't a Dust Force again, because that was cute. Cider time. Companion cube. That's Irish, good effort. Yeah, exactly. No, so this is the insight box. So this is the one that's going to have... I was very close to finishing it. It's going to have all the eyes looking inwards. By the way, if you're interested, when you see me zooming in and out for seemingly no reason, that's because Photoshop is locked to the drawing straight line tools tool, and I can't break out of it without zooming in and out for some reason. Which is a bit of a pain, but what can you do? If you put something in this box, it's going to be examined. Oh, Photoshop, you saucy minx. Hey, Photoshop. Playing with me again, I see. Saucy minx. Yeah. Well, it was funny the first time, Photoshop. You don't need to repeat the joke. The outside of the box is going to be cute little hairy eye bums. I wasn't going to make them hairy, but yes, I guess technically they are eye bums. Draw them with red and Stimpy level detail, zits and all. Yeah, I wasn't planning on doing that. Your suggestion hasn't really changed my position on that. I still don't think I want to. I'm wondering what else I can put in. I still want to get more insight into this design. And also I don't know what I want this shape at the back to be. It doesn't have to be anything. I could keep this character closer to just being a humanoid, kind of like Mischievous over here. They don't all need to have a ridiculous chunk of bulk around them, but it would be nice to put something there. Something that relates, hopefully. So I guess the other... What other thoughts did I have? Wrecking your brain. Ah, yeah, that was an idea. No, but it's not really to do with insight. It was just like a random phrase. Because at first I was basically just going through all of the phrases that describe different ways of thinking, of approaching problem solving, all that kind of stuff. Insight. Let's quickly Google insight. Because Googling a word and just looking for words that pop up afterwards is really my best, or the best way for me to find things that inspire a new idea. So, intuition, perception, awareness, discernment, understanding, comprehension, apprehension, appreciation, cognizance, penetration, acumen, astuteness, perspicacity, perspicaciousness. Damn, that's a big one. Sagacity, sageness. Oh, sagacity. I guess it's the same root as sage. Sageness, discrimination, judgment, shrewdness, sharpness, acuity, flair, vision, prescience. That's a fun one. Imagination, nous, horse sense, horse sense, common sense. I have never come across the idiom horse sense. I feel like it's a difficult one too because it's so it's like a tongue twister. Horse sense, Irish wristwatch. Accurate and deep understanding, realization, recognition, enlightenment, aha moment, eye opener. Aha moment is listed as a dictionary entrance. Horse sense is fairly Western. I think I've heard it from time to time, never used it. Complete tangent. Given your sciencey background, are you a lover of Mr. Feynman? Feynman is all fringe spacing, right? Oh, I can't remember. Or is it Feynman principle? I'm afraid I can't remember. Probably, if I can remember what he did. Wiki designing is fun. The rabbit holes you can go down. Yeah, exactly. I think wiki designing is the perfect name for it. Horsense is fairly IF. Okay, so which one of these can I actually make use of? Penetration. That's something which I can put into something visual. Like they can have a tool which is like about... They could have just a syringe or something. What else is that? I could give them the drill. The drill that will drill further and harder than anyone else's. What's the phrase? Someone quote Tengen Topper back to me, please. Oh, a drill that will pierce the heavens, that's it. They could have a drill getting at the core of something. I think that makes sense. Drill. I like drill. I will do my best to make it not a clone of Gurren Lagann, but you know, whatever. That's the way it's gotta be. Giga drill breaker. Yeah, exactly. Let's shunt those over. Drill, syringe. What other stuff allows you to like proboscis? They can have proboscis. Proboscis? I can't remember how you spell proboscis. Let's just draw one. That would be cool, actually. I would like that, because I can just have like this big long tongue thing. It's quite fun. I think that's good. Moth girl asking for a friend. Yeah. Well, that could be cool. I could make them kind of moth-like. It fits the blind feel, except I don't think moths really provide any other good thematic depth. I mean, attracted to the light, enlightenment. There's something there. I could give them wings. Moth wings. It'd be quite cool. But I think it's too distracting, at least if I give them... fluff around the neck. That's a good idea. They should be able to have some fluff. Because I can layer it underneath. I can kind of like have it poof out around the sides, around the back. My perspective is totally whack here. This needs to be way lower. French call them midnight butterflies. Yeah, that's gorgeous. Wait, what's the Dark Souls boss called? Is that the midnight butterfly? I actually can't remember now. So what other words did we have? Imagination, prescience, acuity. Sharp, yeah, I was thinking acuity is basically sharpness, a keen sense. So there could be some aspect about this character which is sharp. That could just be how I design their clothing. Like at the moment it's very, very tubby, but I could like have these sort of sharper, refined ends to their clothing. Like buttons and stuff. They should have zips. I need to put big zips on these because I like zips. Go full Kingdom Hearts with my zips. Why not? And they can all have like the closed eye symbol on them. I realise this is a good opportunity to put sort of that closed eyelash theme in. Maybe down at the bottom here I could like end all of these tips with like that closed eyelash look. I'll definitely do it here. I think that works quite well. It's a nice inclusion. Feynman has some documentary type things. It's his love of science. Oh, okay, but there's a Feynman in science history, which is why I was confused. Oh my god, you put so much thought into this. Another concept artist's work is like that, and he's amazing. I'll be assigned to a concept effects and make something really cool. He'll make something really cool and design it according to a specific rate for scientific history, even if it's never known to law. Yeah, it's really nice to have reasons for specific design decisions. And I think the biggest thing that it gives is that you end up doing things that haven't been done before. I'm not doing any. I'm hoping to avoid all the generic stuff in this design because, yeah, I'm assuming basically that these sort of ideas haven't been explored. Or at least this combination of ideas hasn't been done. I'm not sure this shoulder pad communicates anything really about them, so I'm going to remove it for now. Because this arm should be more about that kind of transparent look that I want from these references. So the question is, what should they be holding? They could be holding a drill. Maybe let's combine the ideas into one. It's a drill that's also a syringe. Oh my god. Incredible. Make them 90s Adidas poppers. I like big zips and I cannot lie. Oh yeah, you sickened me and you were barely born then. Those new designs keep reminding me of the Synchro character. Yes, I really like Synchro. What's happening to Synchro 2? It has like an official website, a trailer and stuff. No indication as to when it will be released. And it claims to be released like summer 2019 or something. I don't think it has been. Nothing on the site tells you where you can actually find it. What's happened? I just want to see it. Huh. Well, fair enough. It's out. Why doesn't the website have any information of where you can get it? Has it been printed onto CDs? Like, or DVDs? Did it display in cinemas? What happened? Oh, I definitely want to watch it. Like, even if the story's trash, I just love his style of animating. I like his character designs. He did the character designs recently for the new Digimon thing, didn't he? I've never watched any Digimon though, so I cannot comment on it. Designs look fine though. I mean, to me they just look like Senkaroll characters, but it's because I recognize his style. I'm really feeling stuck of what to really communicate with the arm. What does the arm need to do? Like, having a much bigger hand makes sense as like a sort of reference to relying on touch instead of sight. I've kind of already done that though with the other characters. The point was that the leader always has a total grasp of the situation, like they see everything. It's more of a pun to do with grasping something through understanding it. Like, it'd be nice to just go for a big shape here. Oh look, so here we go. This is what Photoshop does. I can't draw curved lines anymore. Everything's just a straight line. And of course, if I try and do anything subtle, it's just Yeah. Why Photoshop? Why? Why you do this? And it's not necessarily Photoshop, it's probably the Wacom input. Because it's not just like the brush tool or anything, it's how it's interpreting my tablet inputs. I don't know. I think this is going to have to be smaller. Firstly, I don't want to massively cover up the eye on the head. Channel Hunter x Hunter and always pray. While you're going for big hands, you could always go for the ludicrous music video look. I don't actually know what you're referring to. I haven't seen Hunter x Hunter. Alas. I'd like to, but it's big. It's big and long, and I haven't made time for it yet. It happens to you sometimes. You unglitch it by pressing the O key. Huh. Alright, I'll definitely try that next time, because that's easier than zooming in and out. Just pressing 0, that's crazy. Why would that make any difference? I sort of understand the zoom. That feels like it's a bit more linked, but... Alright, cool, whatever. I'll give it a shot. Yeah, I'm currently lacking any clear visual direction. We're doing punk modern, insight. Maybe drill syringe. And they're brave. They could be wearing quite brave clothing. Ay. Something that makes you think, oh wow, that's a brave fashion statement. Maybe urban. I need to get some urban fashion reference. And just find something I really like the look of, and then roll with that. I like these. These are cool. So I'm putting these in my ref board. You can't see them. My eyes only. Jackets. Chunky boots. I can't display a drop crotch from this angle. I feel like the problem is there's also a lot less function in this sort of clothing, so it's hard to pick out what I should be doing. Yeah, I don't know. And I want to find a solid thing for that. I think the fluff around the top is cool, but it definitely clashes with the cyberpunk aesthetic. So I am removing for now. I don't think I'm happy with the way the head's positioned. I think it could be cool if they're actually looking straight down at us. That kind of like the twist of them being far more aware of their surroundings despite being blind. Maybe they could have a They could be like, in the way you'd like suck on a straw or a toothpick, they could have a little proboscis shaped thing that they chew on. Maybe that's the point instead. Nah, it's dumb, I don't like it. I forget who suggested this, the Dust Force OST, but thank you. If you're here still, or if you're here again, thank you. I am really enjoying it. It's very cool. Yeah, it was you. Good stuff. Good shout. I'm curious, have you come across Sewer Slut yet? Music artist. No, unfortunately not. It's basically all themed about depression, but I just like the sound of the music. I think it sounds great. And their recent remix of Porter Robinson's track is a good one. And beyond that, listen to Drowning Love Story, or Draining Love Story, I forget what it's called. I think that's the best album to listen to. You get a full sense of their vibe, but also it's probably got my favorite tracks in. Maybe the inside of their head should also be see-through and see their brain inside. Could be cool. And yeah, I think like just something which implies the shape of all these objects, maybe. Maybe a cool way to do it. Oh, you recognize the art. We didn't know more of the work. Fair enough. I mean, to be honest, I really like the simple forms of these shapes, where it's just like very ambiguous internals. I don't know whether that's something where it's like it feels like I'm missing out on the opportunity to do more with this idea by like not doing accurate anatomy, but then accurate anatomy isn't really the point here. Anyway, we've got to give him a jacket, I think. It's just... that's the classic look. And then they're holding this sort of like so. Be cool to make this like all like a really baggy arm. Baggy fabric and stuff. Leave this one little gap here for the silhouette to read. That's always important. Make sure you leave little gaps, negative spaces, so that you can emphasize your silhouette. The Ghost of 313. Let's open that up. So we got it for later. I want a strong sort of jawline. Make it feel brave. Oh, that's not what I wanted. What did I do then? Oh god, what am I doing? Could not move the tool because it doesn't... Oh, I managed to shortcut myself to just the blue channel. Weird. I still don't know what the shortcuts for switching between the color channels are. So I do sometimes do it by accident, and I have no idea. Yeah, still have no idea what I actually clicked to do it, or how to quickly shortcut my way back. I forgot you liked your drum beats too. Oh yeah, definitely. Speaking of drum beats, I listened to FML by deadmau5 again the other day. I haven't listened to that for years, but I love it. It's great. It's all snares. I'm actually not sure if that will come through the mic, whether that's going to be deemed as noise by the noise filter or not. It's a cool track though. How would you hold something like that? You'd have your thumb on the outside, your fingers wrapping around. Maybe I could go for like a thumb here. Perhaps the box needs to move or change its angle so that it's a bit more obvious that it's being held. but I need it to be like at this angle to the camera. It doesn't matter about its rotation. I need this angle to the camera so I can see inside properly. And then you'd only see your fingers at the bottom. I think. Seems about right. I feel like we could exchange music the end of the year. Proper hipster trash. I love hard-hitting bass lines like that. Do I know a Thug Widow? I do not. I shall give that a listen. It feels like something I need to concentrate on, so I'm gonna wait until I'm not streaming. Alright, let's mess around with this. It's not feeling quite as dynamic as I'd like it to. Some real banging shit. What genre is it? How to attract a real niche stream. Or get nothing but IDM/EDM. Africanados? What does that mean? I feel like this head needs to come back. Or just be seen from properly underneath instead. I'll have to zoom in and figure out the face properly. But I still haven't got a feeling of what I want this arm to be. Like, I guess it should be holding an object, or perhaps it could just be, maybe it shouldn't be. Yeah, maybe I should make it hold, something mysterious. Rather than, like, something which continuously ties into the theme of the character. Like it could be. I think I googled mysterious object and just copied the stuff that came up. This is one of them. This seemed to be a commonly labeled mysterious object, but I feel like it might add too much distraction. Lightning Bolt, is that some Dust Force OST? Yes. Oh, I read that wrong because my chat's too far away. Aficionado, my bad. Thug Widow's DMB/jungle. Don't know what subgenres they fit into. Fair enough. That sounds cool. Sounds cool. There's a track which I also couldn't really define, and I was like, it sounds jungle, except I know that jungle doesn't actually sound like this. It was by DJ Technotch, and I shall bring it up right now. It's called Me and Me, and I really like it. My bad. Let's pause the Dust Force temporarily. There you go. You hated buying DMV when you were growing up. Most of what you like is slightly more out there. Right, yeah, so you buy something you're like, well, this is just kind of generic or basic and I don't want that. I want something special. Okay. They could have their arm kind of coming back. In fact, maybe this is a time where I just need to copy them over so I can scribble on top of them without worrying. So one way I could go for it is like the arm coming down like this. Maybe gripping something. I quite like the idea that I have like something which feels like a fist. As for what's on their back, I still haven't really got a good idea. Projection, punk, modern, racking your brain, drill, syringe. I'm not sure if any of them really fit. Massive galaxy brain. So that's what I already did with this boy. I mean, maybe it's not the biggest brain ever, but it's at least like twice the volume of him. I feel like he could curl up and fit in each of the hemispheres. I don't think I want to go for another brain. It could just be something that's vaguely related to the fact that they're floating in the air. Just give him a jetpack. Wow! Whoa! Crazy! Lightning Bolt, you've come in, and you've started chatting about everything we've already discussed. Yeah, I really enjoy Suicide. I just ignore the a lot of stuff about it in its presentation. It's pretty edgy. I like parts of what they're going for. It's just I'm not so interested in it. Yeah, no, it's great. I really enjoy it though. There was a comment which pretty much summed it up on one of the videos, which was just like, well, I know that you're making your music all about depression and death and stuff, but to me it just sounds uplifting, and I like that. So keep doing your thing, because I'll consume it the way I want to. Or it was something to that effect, and I was like, yeah, that perfectly sums it up for me. I don't like that. I want it to be... Maybe it should be like doing an incantation. Oh. Nah. I don't know, I feel a little locked down with the pose. It could just be very confident, like if the arm was thrust out to the side, that could be quite cool. I could put all of the like modern fashion shenanigans on it with like the random belts and stuff. I could give it one of those classic shoulder pads with the studs on. You know, if I'm truly trying to capture that aesthetic. And then it could just be like a really strong fist. And maybe they can hold something odd. Something interesting and obscure. What object could they hold in their hand that would imply insight? I really like the drop. It's really good. Yeah, she could have just gone shopping. She's coming back with some leeks. And potatoes. Potatoes. I don't think so though. You're pretty shallow when it comes to music. This is about as out there as anything you know. mystical items behind. Yeah, it could be like a cooler looking bag than what I did. Thomas App, it's Keen. I remember you from the Google Hangouts. That's cool. How long ago? Because that is a long time now. And how are you doing? So cool to see you again. Unfortunately, I have forgotten a lot of the specifics of the people I chatted to there. Oh, in the Iris Hangouts. Ah, do they still go on? Ah, you're a Discord now, very active. Awesome. Yeah, Iris Muddy. What was your name? What's your like Google Hangout name? Or was it also Thomas AP? Because in which case I just don't remember. The names I remember were something green button. I remember that name. That actually might be it. I think I only remember green button. Oh wow, rude. Thomas getting ghosted. Yeah, sorry, I forget. But, you know, it is what it is. You hardly remember anyone. Oh, but you remember me? Oh, yeah, random green button, that's it. And oh boy, did I want to press that random green button, but I never could. I never could. Bane of my life. How dare he tempt me like that? You know, all you need now is just someone called Big Red Button. And you're like, I just want to press it. But I can't. The temptation continues, exactly. Alright, let's start this phase. Samqui, awesome chat. Are you an art book collector? So, no, not really, except I do happen to have a lot of art books now. There was a competition that was running alongside the release of a book called Hardcover, which currently actually has a Kickstarter, or maybe it's just finished, for the second edition of it. And it's all just, it's like getting a bunch of artists to create not safe for work art, something lewd, something that would have to be censored online. And yeah, that's the whole point of the book. And so it's a bunch of artists, professional boys from the industry. They have Kim Jong-gi, pretty cool. A couple of other people that you'd probably recognize the names of. And yeah, so they all did like a piece of work for the book, and it's put together into something called Hardcover. Anyway, to promote the competition, they had a competition alongside, which was sorry, to promote the book, they had a competition alongside, which was to draw a bunny, an Easter bunny pinup, I believe, because the campaign was happening around Easter last year. And the prize for that was about €1,000 of, well, €1,000 worth of books, because the publisher that was involved, had published all of these books. So basically, all of the Kinyogi sketchbooks, all the Claire Wendling sketchbooks, which are fantastic, and a bunch of other random things. Yeah, they were the prizes. So I now have a bunch of them, which is very nice. But they are only they're the only sketchbooks I have, or art books I have. There's a bunch more that I would like, but can't have everything. And there's still so much to go through in the sketchbooks that I do have. Sorry, art books. Or you can have everything. You buy a lot of art books and never look at them. So that's the thing, it's like I certainly don't regularly open them up to have a look at them. It's most of the time, like, if I have a specific wish to sit down and do some sketching, they're a great resource to study from. I definitely loved looking through them the first time, but now it's kind of, I look through them when I'm showing them to someone else, primarily. And I will get stuck and go through them on my own. But then I'll sort of forget that they're there to look at. Unless I'm reminded of them again. So yeah, I mean, they're lovely to have, basically, because I can dip into them whenever I want. But I wouldn't say it's like a regular pastime of mine. Could be in this hand. What are they doing with it? I don't like this bagginess. I want the bagginess to end early. But what are they holding? What makes sense? Maybe a weird thing like a gun, but it's just got an eye at the end. I guess it wouldn't be a revolver-like gun, would it? That doesn't make any sense. A kind of sci-fi looking thing. Kind of sleek and bullpup. It's a laser. Yeah, I'm not feeling it. I don't think they should have a weapon. None of them really have weapons. I feel like because of the sort of cyberpunky aesthetic, syringes are just going to look like drugs, and that's not the point. Maybe she could just be holding like a chain. It has a little drill on the end. She's still trying to figure out the true meaning of Gurren Lagann. She's just about to. She's going to put it in the box and understand everything there is to know. A mirror, because a lot of Insight people went through the same... Ah, okay, I like that a lot. I'm not sure if it makes sense to hold a mirror, because like held mirrors unfortunately just feel very medieval. Or, yeah, I think medieval really. Or Victorian or something like that. But mirrored surfaces in this design, definitely. I really like that. That's a very, very good idea. Thank you, Slow Crow. Gives me the edge. I've got the edge now. Oh! You keep hitting all the marks. All the right points. That reminds me, as I pursue my art books related to that Labyrinth character you like, have you watched Hisono no Masatan? Or Hisono to Masatan? Yes, it's fantastic. I love it. I really, really enjoyed it. I think the comedy is just fantastic, but of course, yeah, the art style is really fun too. I would like the art book. Well, I imagine I would. Don't have a spare copy, do you? What's brave? What do characters that are brave hold? A big sword? I mean, it fits. At least the composition, but it's... A torch? It just makes no sense because they can't see. How much of this link will be filtered? I mean, I'm aware that those forums are used to post just art books, so I think it's okay. I'm assuming that's the art book for Hisono no Masatan, in which case, thank you.